Good morning, everybody, and we're back on our series of All In and looking at the life of Abraham, and we're using kind of the metaphor of poker a little bit. We're using the all in of putting all your chips on the table and going with God, trusting God, and seeing what happens with the cards you've been dealt, with the life that you've been given. Interesting, this past week we had the chance to play a little bit of poker with some of the guys. John got a new place, and John invited us to come on over and have a men's poker night. And we got together, and we had a really, really good time. There was just 4 of us that got together, and I hadn't played poker for a long time, and I actually enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed the strategy, the bluffing, seeing how the guys have their own little nuances, and we were playing for nice poker chips. Not any money. We had a lot of Mountain Dew. We had a lot of chips going on and snacking going on. It was a great time to just get up and talk and laugh and interact together as guys and let men be men for a while. But we were playing Texas Hold'em. And I've not played Texas Hold'em except online maybe once or twice. So it was still kind of new to me, but I like the game differently than your normal poker. And if you never played it before, let me kind of just explain it. It is a little bit different when you think about going all in. Texas Hold'em starts off with 2 players each chip in before any cards are dealt. One goes with a low chip, one goes with a higher chip, and so you chip in before anything is dealt. So it kind of sets the pot for that hand. Then you are each dealt 2 cards. Those 2 cards you get to see, and then the dealer flips 3 up, face up, on the table for everyone to see. And at that point, the strategy is, what I have in my hand, what can I make out of the 3 cards that are face up for the common hand? What can I do? Then you all chip in, and you decide if you're in, you're not, you're going to raise, you're going to fold, and you begin playing normal poker, but you have this common hand. After you all go around, you chip in for the next time, then you add another card. There's a 4th card up, and you chip in and go through it again. You go to the 5th card up, and you all chip in, and you finally decide if you're in, you're not in, whatever. And we were having a blast doing it. It was lots and lots of fun. Well, John, the host of the night, went out early in the game because he went big early. And John lost. So John turns into the dealer for the night. And we're having a great time. And there was Jamie, and there was Steve, and myself. And eventually I get bumped out of the game. I went big and went home. So John and I are hanging out. And I'm teasing John about the way he's dealing a little bit, just having fun with him. So I took over dealing. And I'm dealing, having a good time with the guys. And the thing about poker, part of the reason I love this game is you're told to deceive people. The game is all about deception, about using what you have. And you bluff sometimes, you don't bluff sometimes. Sometimes you intentionally do things to make them think you have a good hand or a bad hand. The game is all about perception. And there comes a point where, though, you can deceive people, but you can't cheat people in poker. How many of you have seen those old westerns where the guy cheats? He has a card up his sleeve, he has a card underneath, and they shoot him. You can't cheat in poker, but you can manipulate the game to your benefit. There's a fine line. There is a standard in there somewhere. Well, as I'm dealing the cards, at one point, I'm putting them out there, and both the guys, Jamie and Steve, threw their cards back down and said, "Miss Deal, deal over." Now you have to understand, I only had 3 cards out of my hand. I easily could have moved the cards around and said, "Okay, here guys, it's all fixed." And they wouldn't let me do it. Because to them, there's a standard of poker. We're just playing for stupid little colored chips here. No big high stakes, nothing like that. But they had the standard that even that would be cheating. That would not be a game of integrity, of high standard. So they razzed me a little bit, and I reshuffled it again and made sure everything went fine and dandy. And that was late in the game as the stakes were getting higher. The game was going back and forth. The pot was getting pretty big every time, and the chip in is getting high. As we go back to Abraham today, that's the type of life we're looking at. The stakes go higher and higher with Abram and his wife Sarah. The stakes have now mounted to a point where integrity becomes a serious issue here. How do you live life when the cards you dealt are not good cards? What are you going to do? Do you maintain or do you cheat? Famine is at the land. As we go back to the book of Genesis, we're going to pick up exactly where we left off last week. Remember, Abram had been blessed with a great business. He's traveled, he's moved, he follows God, he has a promise from God, He has a great future with God, and now famine has hit the entire region. And so he has to uproot his family again. It's much like our world today. The businesses are collapsing. There's no hope in your local community. So let's move to the big city, honey. Let's move to Egypt, and let's go find a better way to do this, because where we have it now is not cutting it. So as we get into it, that's where we're going to be at with him. And we go to verse 10, and starting back in Genesis chapter 12 again. So follow along, and we're on page 10 in the yellow Bibles. At that time, a severe famine struck the land of Canaan, forcing Abram to go down to Egypt, where he lived as a foreigner. As he was approaching the border of Egypt, Abram said to his wife Sarai, "Look, you are a very beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, 'This is his wife. Let's kill him. Then we can have her.' So please tell them you are my sister. Then they will spare my life and treat me well because of their interest in you." Just stop. How nuts does that sound? Married women, how do you feel right now? As you look at your husband of integrity, as we approach the city, yeah, I admit, you're gorgeous. You are hottie. You are amazing. And everyone's going to notice you, honey. So for the sake of me, let's pretend we're not married. We're brother and sister. We're just friends. We're not going to go the same way we've gone through life for the past 80 years of marriage, of life together. After all these travels, after everything we've done, following God properly, now I'm going to say, yeah, you're really not with me. How would that make you feel? If the person you love the most all of a sudden jettons you. And why is he doing this? This is all about fear. He's afraid of the unknown. This guy's followed God in the unknown already, but now he's afraid of a new unknown. He's afraid of the circumstances of the world and the culture and society. It's such a dark time. And he is letting that fear take him into a self-centered, self-preservation mode. This is all about selfishness. I'm going to do whatever it takes to preserve me, honey. Because if they like you, maybe I will succeed in life. But if they kill me, not so good. How selfish are we when fear mounts up? How do you guys handle the pressure to drop the integrity as fear grows and circumstances are not that great anymore? See, lack of integrity comes from selfishness. It's really clear. Selfishness, integrity, honor, they're all linked together. And fear is linked right in this. It drives all these things all together all the time. Fear is a powerful thing. Fear drives most of us to our weakest moments in life. Fear is the thing that triggers us and makes us slide into half-truth, white lies. See, it was true on one level. They are brother and sister, half-brother, half-sister. So he's not really telling a complete outlandish lie. They're just not being completely true. They're bending the facts to fit their circumstances. He's looking for the backdoor way to do this. Instead of being a man of integrity, walking in the town, saying, we're in need, this is my wife, here I am, and go on. See, integrity is living a life of full truth, not half-truth. Think of the world we live in right now. Think of society. Think of the businesses. Think of all the things you can imagine, our political leaders, the banking, our school systems. Think of all the people that have told us truth, and then it comes to be a half-truth, a white lie. And our belief in them drops drastically really quick.